Welcome back to another episode of the Daily Candle Close News, where we program divergence and glitches and deprogram the masses, sending you all much love and high vibrations out to wherever you are in this matrix and galaxy. Certainly hope you're all doing well on 322 Skull and Bones Day. So very important. Something that we'll be talking about today because it ties us into our favorite pals, Skull and Bones at Yale University, something we've talked about for over a year. This year will be Yale University's 322nd year since its establishment, October 9th, 1701. So, we know the fraternity of Brotherhood has not been established as long, but it's something we'll be talking about tonight. Some major players on the world stage that help run the realm and matrix reality that we live in. And we're going to prove that tonight because everything is math. And we use numerology, gematria, pi, the periodic table of elements, astrotheological teachings from an astro-prehistoric world, facts, figures, numbers, logic, and common sense to help us understand, so we can understand this matrix reality that we are living in. Everything is math. We use math every day to forecast the weather, to tell what time it is, the date, or even the year. We use math to handle money. Math can often be used to solve and analyze problems, patterns, puzzles, and crimes. Math is more than just numbers, formulas, or equations and fractions. It's simply logic, common sense, rationality, and always true. Using our minds as pioneers of werewolves, divergence, and glitches, we can solve some of the biggest hidden truths of this realm and matrix. Everything is numbers. So this one's for all you pioneers of werewolves, divergence, and glitches that want to step out of the box and step out of the firmament, because we are the blessed ones, the crazy ones, the truth seekers, and the ones who refuse to be programmed. So again, we're going to be talking about Skull and Bones, and I know everyone in the world wants to associate this 322 number with Skull and Bones because it's in their signia and their logo, right? And when you type out skull and crossbones, you're going to get another connection to the same 223 322 connection. As above, so below. Because in alchemy, you want to always mirror and never, mimic. So very important. But everyone knows that 322 is associated with Skull and Bones and the Brotherhood of Death, or the Order, or 322, the Bonesmen. Alright? But this is the year that Yale, like I said, turns 322 years old in the 2023 year. Remove this zero in numerology because it has no value. You get 223. So today is a day we will never see again. So now, why do you see this number sequence of 223 and 322 so much? Why is it in our everyday lives if you truly pay attention? Why do these individuals use this number as their logo insignia? Well, I hope by the end of this video and presentation, you'll have a better understanding and gnosis as to why this number is so powerful in our everyday lives. We just passed through the astrological new year, which we've been talking about, which was Eosta, Ostara, the West Germanic spring goddess, okay? So dating all the way back to, another version of Apru, or Aphrodite, Venus, okay, or Freya. But it was also the spring equinox, the vernal equinox, the true mark of the new year, and we'll prove that by the end of the video. But then it led into 2 days ago, 3, 2, 1, go, being the start of Aries at 1:23 p.m. Imagine that. As above, so below. Alchemy, you guys. Astrology. Everything in life is math, like the 13 Lucas numbers that we see right here. 76 tying us into skull and bones, 322 being the 13th one on 322 today, or the golden ratio of phi, the Fibonacci sequence, or pi. Okay, so very important. But we just passed through the astrological new year, which gave us 223 in numerology. This 110, we can pay attention to that because we're in the Chinese New Year of the rabbit, giving us that same 110. So pay attention to Donnie Darko and the possible alien invasion that could be coming. Donnie Darko also gives us 322 and 43 in numerology, tying us both into skull and bones and Yale when we add in the prime ciphers. Okay, so very important. Found that on the fly. Didn't even know it gave us 322 in the prime cipher. So very important. Just like Lucifer gives us 223 in the prime cipher, tying us into the duality, the demiurge, the yin and the yang, ladies and gentlemen, giving us that same 322, 223. That's 17 in Chaldean, the purest cipher that we get in God or man. Okay, that same connection we get, that 10 and that 17 in man and God, because Genesis 1:26-27 says we were built in the image of the Elohim, the gods, the creators. We are co-creators. So remember that. And by the end of this video, I'm going to prove to you why this number is so important to these elites. So not only did we just pass through the astrological new year, and we tied this into math and the birthplace of humanity and how it ties into skull and bones and the ancient mystery religions, which ties back to the Abrahamic religions of Christianity and all these other 10,000 religions that they've got us indoctrinated in, that is dumbing down the sleeping masses, because it's the greatest story ever told that hides the truth in plain sight, that you are the Christ. You are Jesus Christ. Giving you that same 223, because you make up the Christ body, the Ouroboros, the matrix body. You are Neo. You are the one. Okay, Neo is an anagram, a mix-up for one, giving you that same 47, 34, the mirror of 43. You are Trinity if you are a female, giving you that same 115, 43, 74, 47 connection that we're all getting in Jesus and Lucifer. Okay, so very important. Same matching numerology and connections. You're a Jake Natiri from the Avatar series. Connect back to Awa, especially now that this is Ostara and the new year. Okay, giving us the 18 we get in Jesus or Christ, because you are the Christ body. You are the Christos, the Greek term for Christ within. Talking about your chrism, the anointing oil that it talks about in the scripture. Okay, because this is March, like I said, the new years at 43, so it's the new years, you guys. 110 tying us into rabbit, giving us that 43. Okay, alright, so very important. The Chinese New Year's is the rabbit year, 110. Okay, so very important that we just make these connections as to why we're seeing the greatest story ever told. It's all ran by the eye, the all-seeing eye, that 115, tying us into the light bringer, the morning star. Jesus and Lucifer were both called the morning star, but Saturn, Kronos, Odin, Father Time, the god of 1,000 names, the first son, okay, gives us that same 322 in numerology. So very important. We remember in March 13th, Friday the 13th, all the way to the day. 36 months and 9 days, 369 Nikola Tesla, 3 years, 1 week, 2 days, an anagram, a mix-up for 3, 2, 1, go, yesterday's date. Okay, Yale is 321 years old, but the low in the markets came in right there on 313. This is the weekly candle, so you're not going to see that. It's going to show you the March 9th. But if we were to go right here, we'll see our low came in for Bitcoin on 313, Friday the 13th, giving us matching numerology to 223. So very important. Just tying us in the skull and bones. Alright, so just wanted to come out and share how important today is, because we can't forget that today is and would have been the 43rd birthday of the Georgia Guidestones if they would not have sudden destructed at 4:03 a.m. shortly after CERN cranked up for the first time in years to maximum capacity. So actually more than what they had done in 2016, more capacity than 2016. So not surprising that we see the Georgia Guidestones, whose birthday would have been today and would have turned 43 years old. This is all again tying us into Aries, what we just transitioned into, 43, which is the god of war. So very important. Okay, the astrological zodiac new year, March 21st, 321 go, all the way into April 20th, our next upcoming solar eclipse. And today started what we know in the Islamic and Muslim faith as Ramadan. Starts today on 322 skull and bones and ends on Thursday, April 20th, which is our upcoming solar eclipse, which I drew a pattern in one of our Thursday night hangouts, free-handed, and we've just been following it ever since, heading up towards our April 20th solar eclipse, where we tend to get a microstructure reset recycle in the markets around the 21st, 22nd of the month, like we teach you. Just like today, we get a sell-off down 6.56% on the 2-hour time frame. Not surprising at 1400 hours at 2 o'clock. Okay, so not surprising, Bitcoin is 14 years old, so we get a sell-off at the 1400 hour military time frame on the 2-hour time frame out of this rising wedge, which has a 68% chance of a breakdown, because we tapped our 1618 golden ratio of phi, ladies and gentlemen, something we've been sharing with you here for quite some time. So not surprising, on the 322 date and the Brotherhood of Death getting a liquidation in the markets, daily time frame already right here, closing down 3.08%. Remove the 0 and you have 38, and this is all tying us into death in the markets. 38, 110 in primes. Okay, tying us into the rabbit gives us 25 in numerology. So not surprising to see a little bit of death in the markets, especially because we've been preparing you that we had on the RSI this increase in price action to the upside, but the RSI was showing a bearish divergence, lower highs, and now on the 2-hour time frame we're reaching oversold, underbought territory, from overheld to overbought. Okay, so pay attention to this. Not as bad on the daily time frame, still have some room we can drop. So we'll have to continue to pay attention to this. Okay, moving forward. Just something we share with you, technical analysis wise, to pay attention moving forward. So this is the 223, the yellow, and the 322, the blue exponential moving averages, coming close in to around the 702, this golden pocket of our previous fib pool from high to low of our previous full moon in February, right before 223, and then we get a sell-off down to 22,300, and then we close our CME gap right here. So very important. Just a bear trap, trapping the bears and punishing them to the upside. The 28K, something we've been prepared for multiple months, and one of our first de-risking ranges. So very important. But let's get back into this, because we've got a lot to talk about. Not only was today the supposed to be today the 43rd anniversary of the Georgia Guidestones that blew up at 4:03 a.m. on, I believe, July 7th, if I'm not mistaken. June 7th. I don't know. If it was June 7th, that would be 67 or 76 internationally written, tying us in the skull and bones. I could be mistaken, but it was shortly after CERN was reactivated on May 7th, if I'm not mistaken. That's 5/7 in the Gregorian calendar, and we just exited Super Bowl 57. So, this 5/7 is very powerful this year. Anyways, moving on. Tying this back into any and everything we can around the 322 and 223. We know that there's more things like China was the first place to get 322 cases of the bear flu, and then we started to see multiple cases all around the world in different places of 322 cases, just preemptively programming it into the mind of the masses. Again, skull and bones, the symbol, the signia is the skull, which is an ancient term for the word school, but it also signifies and symbolizes Saturn, Father Time, Kronos, the Grim Reaper, death. Okay, so very important. It also symbolizes, with a crossbones, sacrifice. Ancient pirate flags would have the skull and bones, symbolizing this symbology. Okay, so very important. But anyways, we know that there's more to talk about. The Queen's death, we know, happened on September 8th, Virgin Mary's birthday, and I was out here 8-9 months in advance, preparing people, preemptively programming them that we were going to see the Queen die in 2022, all because of her Platinum Jubilee in the color purple, symbolizing ascension and the ascension process. But Queen Elizabeth, too, dead on September 8th, giving us 322 in numerology. Can't make this up. She died 32 weeks and 2 days before her upcoming birthday. So, 2 matching 322 numerology connections. And we know there are multiple Bible verses that ties in to 322. Genesis 3:22, and the Lord God said, "The man has now become like one of us." Us, plural, meaning more than one. Okay, this was the Lord speaking. Lord being a term that also translates to Baal. Okay, knowledge, good and evil. He must not be allowed to reach out his hand and take also from the tree of life and eat and live forever. To have knowledge, gnosis, and wisdom, to step outside the subliminal, predictive, preemptive programming of the news, the masses, etc. Remember that when you bite from the tree of knowledge, when you start to become illuminated and awaken and reach the 33rd degree, your pineal gland becomes uncalcified. Okay, water unfreezes at 33rd degree. The Pope wears 32 buttons on his gown, and the 33 isn't there because his head, the pineal gland, represents the 33rd vertebrae, the ascension stage. Okay, so very important. But Jesus saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but through me. The Bible was written in parable and allegory to allow you to understand that you are the Christ body, the Christos. the Christ within. So very important. Don't lose sight of who you truly are. Goddesses and goddesses with amnesia. But we've seen scripted school shootings tying us back into Sandy Hook, where the shooter, Adam Lanza, used a rifle, high semi-automatic rifle with a .223 caliber round in it. School, again, being an ancient word for skull, crossbones symbolizing sacrifice, alright? But when you tie it into the last one we saw last year, that just sucked the energy of the masses. You get the 223 in numerology as well. So remember that. Don't get caught up in the distractions. Okay? So very important. Let's continue on. We know that the creators of Skull and Bones were William Russell and Alfonso Taft, giving us that same 117, tying us into Bitcoin, that 110 in the rabbit year. And when we remove and we type out William Russell and Alfonso Taft, we're getting, okay, never mind. William Russell, Alfonso Taft, did I spell their names wrong? Maybe I should have just kept it the way okay, never mind. So when you type out William Russell and Alfonso Taft, you get the 117, tying us into Bitcoin. And then when you type out where they are from, which is Middletown, ooh, that's where I messed up earlier. Middletown, Connecticut. Connecticut is where Skull and Bones is from, Yale University, and Townsend, Vermont. You're getting that 87 in numerology. Okay, pay attention to that 88. We'll make it a connection to that in a minute. But that 87 in numerology, and this is where I messed up twice tonight in my previous events. So coming back before the end of the night on 322, and just going to be up a 48 hour because we got to work and be up at 137, the 33rd prime number. But anyway, this 87 right here is tying us into the 87th element, which was created by a woman named Margaret Perry. And this element is called francium, which has an atomic mass and numerologic value of 223. Margaret Perry was born on October 19th. So the 119, tying us into the all-seeing eye of Saturn, okay? Saturn, the all-seeing eye, giving us that 322, or the all-seeing eye of providence that you see on the back of your dollar bill, which is just the most ancient symbol for the Messiah. Again, the first God, the God of all gods, Odin, Kronos, Father Time, Saturn, okay? So very important. Remember this. So don't get lost in all the nonsense. Okay, so just want to finally be able to make that connection and not mess up this time. Tying it into the periodic table of elements and the 87th element. Alfonso Taft, he died on May 21st. And if you know anything about the Gregorian and the Julian calendar, you'd know our calendar is a lie. May is truly the third month. So that would have been 3, 2, 1, go. Yesterday's date, the new moon, and the start of Aries. And we saw some news around this character, the orange guy. And we know his Mar-a-Lago estate got raided. And it happened on August 8th, okay? And TRUM, he equals 28 or 88 in numerology, okay? And if you take from that date to 88 2023 to yesterday, and you include, happened on 22 actually, and you include the end date, it's 32 weeks and 2 days, okay? So not surprising. If you study the study of Manly P. Hall, this 7 months and 14 days, or any combination of this 147 or 174, 714, 741, anything like that, ties you directly to Lucifer and the skull and bones, because again, Lucifer gives you 223, the light bringer. Both Jesus and Lucifer were known as the morning star, the sun that rises every day, the same sun that dies every December on the 22nd and then rises again 3 days later on what they tell you is Jesus' birthday, but it's really Nimrod's. So very important. So this is why we saw that narrative around the orange guy. And we know Ellen DeGeneres, whose birthday is January 26, 2000, I don't know. But anyway, so January 26, 2022 to the date her co-host or whatever died, Twitch, we see that was 1 year, and okay, it's going to be the same year, 322 days. So not surprising to see his death around this time period, okay, and exactly why it happened when it did. So again, anything we use tonight will be Federal Fair Use Act for educational entertainment purposes only, because we're about to crank it up and continue the song. So very important. We stated and talked about the start of Ramadan, and how it runs into the next solar eclipse, being the 9th month in Islam, and a very important time for fasting, which again is why I see a fasting coming in the markets right now, a downtrend leading into this time period. Our moon cycles has given us our umbrella, just showing us that we're getting ready to make it rain. You can barely see it, but it showed this right here on the 19th, Sunday. The sun is the 19th card in the Tarot deck, and that ties us back to the ancient god Ra, which gives us 19, and we are all the sun, who has a spirit inside of us. SPIRT. Spirit, giving us that same 8228 that we get in Sun God. Okay, so very important. 8228 tying us back into Ra. Okay, but we are the battery, giving us that same 19. Okay, so remember that. So very important. Alright, so let's see where we want to go from here with this quick, short 322223 breakdown. Let's go back to our slides. And let's talk about, we talked about that, talked about this. Some people believe, obviously, this is tying us into the fallen angel, Luciferian technology that has taken over this organic realm, because we're moving into more of a technological realm, okay, where religions will be replaced with technology, etc. Workplaces will be replaced with technology, etc. People are already stuck in their iPhones, the forbidden fruit. So very important. But some people believe that through the DNA, mRNA, research with gain of function, etc., that these elite apex predators are trying to add another 22 base pair to our 44 base pair DNA, okay, our autosomes. So very important. So when you remove the 2 pair for the sex X and Y, you have the 44. So 22 more to that would be 66. So very important. 36 or 36 is, boom, the 666. The what they would say is the mark of the beast. So we know we were built with a Jacob's ladder, a 2 strands of 22 pair DNA natural double helix, created for the human DNA, the deoxyribonucleic acid. So very important. Why mess with that? So just some speculation out there on the world stage about why we're seeing some of these things. So very important. I'm just making a ton of connections tonight to this very important day and who you are. And boom. I do want to share, since this is a cryptocurrency based channel, and we do everything cryptocurrency based. Again, Federal Fair Use Act. I'm gonna mute this, but we can view the screen. And this is episode 5, season 5, episode 11, the Mayor of 115. We've been getting all night in our decode, Tinus and the Skull and Bones, and Lucifer and the Trinity, etc. Okay, but this is talking about how someone's opened up numerous shell accounts, okay, over the last few months, $1 billion worth, okay, originating where? Colombia. Sounds like his dad might be washing money. Exactly. His most recent transaction was a withdrawal from one of his offshore accounts of $200 million at 22 minutes and 3 seconds. So this lets me know that I believe Bitcoin will one day hit a 6-7 figure price range, possibly at least to 200k. Who knows? So that could be in the future, okay, but who knows? They say he converted it to cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. Now, if you take a look at season 4, episode 2, again 42, tying us into Saturn, and we go to the 7-minute mark, because Bitcoin equals 117, and we pay attention to this guy that's arrested for a hack. He says, yes, but it's not my program. What do you mean? Whose is it? I don't know, some guy I met in a chat room. He's paid me 20k in Bitcoin, and it said that at the 7-minute and 11-second mark. I just didn't stop it in time. And Bitcoin equals 117. This was released on September 28, 2021, where we saw Bitcoin at that time period at and in the middle of the start of the Shemitah, which started right here on this sell-off, a day that added up to 57 in numerology. Remember that, okay? And then right here around 28th of September, Bitcoin setting at a high of $42,000. So I knew at that time period we would eventually fall at some point back to $20,000. Okay, so how you can use the code to pay attention. Came back down to a 8-10 plus year long trend line. So very important. Dating all the way back to 2015, so almost a 10-year long trend line, a good 8-year trend line, waiting to get back above it. We are finally closing weekly candles above both the 223 and the 200 exponential and simple moving averages. So very important. The 223 exponential being the yellow, the 200 being the red. We haven't seen weekly candle closes above this since our sell-off back in the lows of June, okay, the 13th. Alright, Bitcoin was still 13 years old during this time period. Alright, so very important. Alright, and then we finally had our low on 11.9, which this is the weekly time frame, so it's showing you 11.7, but it came in on 11.9, the mirror of course 9/11. So not surprising, okay? The all-seeing eye, the motherboard, okay, that we live in. Alright, the matrix, reality, and simulacrum, this toroidal field of a terrarium, okay? Two fish swimming in a fish bowl. year after year, we're just getting perfect rejection from this trend line. Just like we got perfect rejection from our 1618 golden ratio of phi and came back down. 68% chance of a breakout. Learn how to trade the patterns. Probably going to approach the 223 and 322 exponential moving average. And we've been going right now for 34 minutes. Dang, I missed the 32-minute 20-second mark I was trying to cut this video off at. So I just want to come out and touch up on a lot of things that I felt like needed to be discussed. Cash was everything around us, and right now we're moving into an era where BTC, B being the second letter in the alphabet, A, B being 2, T being the 20th, and C being the third, the 223. So Bitcoin's highly tied to skull and bones, just like the US dollar currency that everyone screams is king. Not surprising. Okay, that is just, see that 56 down there? That is just mind control to keep you trapped in the old system while they get ready to transition us into the new one. The 137, the 33rd prime number, tying us into the 33rd degree. Most Freemasons are known bonesmen. They're interchangeable. Okay, a lot of these groups work together. Remember that. That's one thing the elite apex predator has versus the human everyday person is loyalty to their team. So remember that. So very important. But today was the 81st day of the year when we look at that in numerology. Tied to upcoming Shemitah. Well, tied to the upcoming Shemitah, a day that adds up to 67, the mirror of 76. But it's also 5 months and 25 days. Palindrome for 52 and 25 in the rabbit year that gives us both 52 and 25. Today's an important day, okay? But it adds up to 81 in numerology, or the 81st day of the year, I mean. That is important. Before we get off of here, I want to share with you why. Because it is clearly a ritual. Why we see the market selling off, especially after the banks come out and say that, the Fed come out and, the hike rates, Jerome Powell hikes the rates despite concerns over banking crisis. Like this was a planned crisis. The banks collapsed on 3/10, a 3-year anniversary to the exact date of our last day of normality before the bear flu crisis and the low of Friday the 13th. Again, we've discussed this. This is strictly a ritual, and I'm about to prove that because it was Silicon Valley Bank out of Silicon Valley, okay, where most cryptocurrencies are from, okay? So remember that. So it was clearly a ritual, giving us that 81 we see right there on today, the 81st day of the year, the Skull and Bones Day, okay? So, with that being said, this ritual that's all took place, you don't need to get distracted by it, okay? Because again, you are Christ, giving us the 18, as above, so below, okay? You are Jake from, obviously, Avatar, giving us that 81, okay? So remember who you are. Don't get caught in your ego, okay? Your Lucifer side, that 18, okay? Remember, you are the sun, alright? You are the battery that ties you to the source energy that you were created by, giving us that 81, okay? All roads lead to Rome is what they say, but if you only knew that Rome was just the chrism in your brain, the milk and the honey, the Christ within, the Christos, okay? So very important. Just remember who you are, okay? Because I'm telling you that nothing in this world is random. Ladies and gentlemen, pioneers, divergence, and glitches, giving us that same 180 81. Okay? So remember that, because everything you do counts. And I want you to succeed and win. Okay? To reach the castle in the sky, do not waste any of your hours, seconds, minutes of the day. 81. 108. The spiritual number of completion dropped to 0. 18. Okay? So remember, all I'm trying to do is teach my pioneers, my divergence, my glitches, my aware wolves, is how to speak the language of the angels with a gangster dialect, giving us that same 81. Okay? That 76 tying us into skull and bones. 81. This 333 tying us into the royal arc of Freemasonry. If we were to type that out, we would get 81. But it is 23 giving us that 81. That's 67. Okay, if I spelled 20 right the second time, but 81. So sorry about that. It didn't give us a 67. So very important, you guys. So remember that. Remember who you are. Okay, don't just get lost in this world around money and cash rules everything around me. It's fake. It doesn't exist at the end of the day. All that matters is you. Just remember, you can watch the news on the Daily Candle Close News and be prepared for the volatile moves in the market. Alright? Because, again, this was nothing more than a transition into Aries. And this is where we'll end this off, which is also known as chrysomalis. Okay? So, it's where we tend to see, a little volatility. Just copy this real quick and share this little cute little decode with you. Boom. Chrysomalis giving us that 166. That 49 we get in skull and bones. 49. Okay? The square root of 7. 2 plus 2 plus 3, or 3 plus 2 plus 2 is 7. Okay? So very important. But chrysomalis, we'll put that down there, and then we're going to pull up the Wikipedia page of it and share a little something with you real quick. Boom. And teach you who these fraternity brothers really are, in my opinion, by the end of the night. Because this does tie us into the tetragram aton, or Jabulan, or Yod-He-Vah-He, or God, or Yomengon, Yahweh, whoever you believe in, Buddha, whatever, your higher self, okay? Ties us into the tetragrammaton with that same 166. But we're seeing a sell-off in the markets right now. So it reminds me of the Twin Towers right now, because we've talked a lot about 119, 911 tonight, giving us that same 166, that 43 tying us into Yale, that 49 tying us into skull and bones from Yale, which is just a big group of slime balls, in my opinion, you guys, giving us that same 166, the 67, the mirror of 76. But hey, I'll behave. But chrysomalis is known as the heavenly ram, or Aries. So when we look this up, like we just did, boom, and we go right here to this pretty interesting, no, I don't want to look up golden fleece. I want to look up chrysomalis. Alright, we'll just go back to Aries. Boom. Here we are. We see a lot about this time period, but there's one specific thing that I thought was pretty interesting when I found this 166, and it was tying it back to 41. Has a lot to do with Chrysomalis and the constellation right now. ARIET. I'm not seeing it. But anyone, 41 area is 166 light years. And it shares this somewhere when you do your deep dive and search into Chrysomalis. And you find that Aries. Yeah, but anyway, sorry I lost that, you guys. I just wanted to share that, and who I thought these apex predators were on the world stage before we got off of here and got ready to go to work again. Before we're up for a total of probably 48 roughly hours. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed our 322-223 decode tonight, tied around Skull and Bones and the Fraternity of Death, Order 322 and the Bonesmen. So take care and God bless, Pioneers. Pioneers rise, build your fortress and build your legacy. We'll see you on the next one.